Hey, this is Billy from Perma Pastures Farm, and we're back to doing something that I absolutely love. And that Well, if you go back a few videos ago, you'll remember that we processed 2 pigs. And when I cut them up, I left some of those pieces. I didn't process all of them. I left them to some extent into their primal form or their subprimal form, meaning like in this particular case, you have a ham and I could go ahead and make a ham out of it. Or in this case, I have shanks. Well, and those are good if you can, smoke them and put them in beans or greens or any number of ways in which you can do that. But there's also another option. And this is why I choose to keep my items this is why I choose to keep the subprimals in their subprimal form, because I may have needs. And in this particular case, and in this household, one of those needs just happens to be breakfast sausage. Now, despite the fact that I've already made quite a bit of it so far, I'm nearly out of it. In fact, this just happens to be all I have left of the apple rosemary, but it affords me opportunities to do some special things. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these shanks, I'm going to take this ham, I'm going to take them off the bones, and of course we have, I have honestly a need for these bones, so it's really knocking out a few birds with one stone. So I need the sausage for us, I need these bones to make something out of it. And we're going to bring it all together, and over the next few weeks we'll have it all unfold. But right now we're going to make some sausage out of this stuff. And now you've seen me make apple rosemary, you've seen me make the coffee maple, and you've seen a regular breakfast sausage. Today we're going to do something different. So right off the bat, all I'm going to do is get this stuff off the bone. We'll break out the grinder, we'll grind it, add the ingredients, and I'll show you the twist on this one. All right, so we end up with about 15 pounds of grind, somewhere thereabouts. Now, for my breakfast sausage recipe, it's the same no matter what. So we got salt, pepper, red pepper, cayenne pepper, nutmeg, brown sugar, rosemary, thyme, and sage. Of course, you got to have sage if you want to do breakfast sausage, at least in my opinion. So we're going to add all this stuff together, but let me show you what's going to make this sausage a lot different. Bam! Apple butter. Now, this is the cool thing about making these breakfast sausages, whether it's the coffee maple or the apple rosemary. I use the basic, it's going to be the basic thing no matter what. This is no matter what kind of breakfast sausage I do, this is always going to be the base. And you just add the other stuff to it. At least that's the way I roll with it. But I'm going to do something I've never tried before. This apple butter. The only complaint that I have about, let's say, the apple rosemary is that it's not apple-y enough, to me anyway. I feel like it needs a stronger apple flavor, and because this stuff is so concentrated, I can't help but think that this is going to be a fantastic addition. So, all I'm going to do, dump the base ingredients in here, dump as much, probably this whole jar. Yeah, because we got about a gallon of it, so that's good. We'll dump this whole jar in there, mix it up. And just remember, whenever you make homemade sausage, this is just one of those tricks of mine, and one of those tricks that pretty much every butcher knows, is you don't immediately eat this stuff. You want to let all these things come together, and they can do it through osmosis in the fridge. So I'm going to put all this stuff in here, and then tomorrow I got a choice. I could either make breakfast sausage patties out of it, or more than likely, I could make links out of it. I've done that before. Or we can go ahead and use it the way we most commonly use it, the way I prefer it, is to go ahead and put it in 1 to 2 pound packages. Take it out, cook it, as we go. And plus it leaves you options for other things too. So with that said, let's rock and roll with this. All right, it's the next day. Sausage has been setting up for a while, but I want to talk about what we're going to do with the bones. Now, you have options. Clearly, if you have big dogs and you don't mind them eating bones, problem solved. But we don't give any big bones to our dogs because it could ensue into a fight or any number of things. So here in a permaculture solution, we've already established one of them, and that's making bone sauce. And these are good bones to do that with, but I've already saved a number of other bones in which we can do that. So these guys, believe it or not, they're going to first go to the chickens. They'll work it out. They'll pluck that thing probably clean. And just so I'm not drawing in any unwanted predators, as tonight unfolds, I'll scratch out, basically with a pitchfork, I'll scratch out a hole, cover it back up. And if these guys want it tomorrow, they'll get all over it. Now, this thing had time to set up, and you want to make sure you give it that time. Do not try to rush this part of the process, because if you don't give this thing 12 to 24 hours to kind of set up, all your flavors aren't going to come together. And then when you package this stuff and then try to cook it later, you're going to wonder why one pack tastes distinctly different than the other. And in this particular case, it needed more salt and it needed more spices. Now, the difference between this batch and the one I did before is that in all of the other sausage that I made prior to this, if you go back to previous videos, you'll notice that everything I put in there in terms of spices, herbs, every bit of it was fresh. It came directly from the garden. But right now, because I did poor planning, and it happens, as luck would have it, I had to use dry ingredients. So it kind of messed up my ratios here because all of my recipes are kind of set up for fresh ingredients. So there's adjustments that need to be made when you do dry ingredients. And plus, they just, take rosemary, for example. It just is nowhere close to as aromatic as it is when you pick it fresh. So it required a little bit of salt. Okay, I had to add more of that. I could tell that it needed more sage, so I added more of that. Most importantly, it needed more apple butter, so I put in nearly a quart. This is 15 pounds worth, so I put in a quart the first time. The sweetness was right, but the apple flavor wasn't quite there, so I added another 2 pints. It was a pint of apple butter. And so now we're to the point now, before you go, I let it sit up another day. So before you go and just package this stuff up, test it again. Take a piece out, fry it in the pan, and see where you are. Now keep in mind, when you make this kind of sausage and you attempt to fry it in a pan the regular way, you're gonna leave some residue. It's gonna want to stick. So the best way to cook this stuff, at least the way I do it, because of some of the sugar content in there, the best way to do it is to bake it in the oven on parchment paper. That way your cleanup is easy and it's all self-contained. And you're not going to have any issues with sticking. So with that said, I'm going to take this plastic off of here, take a little ball of it, fry it in the pan, even though I know it's going to stick. And then I'm going to make adjustments if I need to. I think I'm pretty close to where I need to be. All right, the moment of truth. So here is where we find out whether or not my experiment of apple butter breakfast sausage works out. Let's just give it a shot here. I feel like I'm in the middle of a York peppermint patty commercial. Wow, this stuff is, look folks, I'm not overstating it when I say this thing is off the hook. Okay, so finally we got the salt right, we got the apple butter right, because you can literally smell the apples coming off of this thing. But when you cook it, it kind of like just this one little piece permeates the whole house. So now that all the adjustments are made, I like the salt, I like the flavor. Only difference I would make at this point is make absolutely sure that I use fresh ingredients, because the dry stuff is just no substitute when you're used to the other thing. You know, I'm not used to working in these primitive conditions. Anyway, I'm going to finish eating this, and we're going to wrap this thing up in 1 pound. We don't go through breakfast sausage in like 2 pound increments like we do, let's say, ground beef or ground pork or anything like that. So there's roughly 15 pounds here. I'm going to take it, weigh it, tag it and bag it, put it in the fridge. With that said, let me do my Giada de Laurentiis. Well, there you have it. 17 pounds of breakfast sausage, better yet, apple butter breakfast sausage. And what I really like about doing this is that we're taking 2 value-added products and putting them together. Meaning that you took something in its raw form, did some things to it, and you increased its value. But I think it's pretty cool when I can take those opportunities to take value-added products, apple butter, sausage, combine them, and then do something what I think is, really special with it. So go out there, give it a shot yourself. Get a pork butt if you have to. Grind it. Come up with your own recipe. Let me know how it works out for you. So until next time, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And until then, this is Billy, the Permaculture Pimp Daddy, where PIMP stands for Permaculture is my passion. Because it really, really is. We'll see you next time.